Today, I think it would be important to talk about the Rubik's Cube. Um, it's you know, a cube made of lots of different colors. Um, it comes with each side a solid color. The colors are white, orange, green, blue, yellow, and red. Did I say all the colors? Blue, white, yellow, red, orange, and green. That time I got all the colors. I don't know if I did the first time or not, but it doesn't matter. The second time is what you should listen to. Yeah, so there's different color sides. They're solid when you get the cube, but when what you're supposed to do with it is rearrange it like I have now, um, and then you're supposed to put it down for a while and forget how you messed it all up, and then you come back to it. I usually wait a few days to really, because I can remember patterns very, with no difficulty whatsoever. So if I do it, if I try to solve it immediately, it's too easy because I just do the reverse of what I did. Um, but if I wait a few days, I'll forget, and then I will pick the cube back up, and I go, you know what? I don't really like it looking all messed up like this. I would much prefer it to have solid colors on all sides. And so then what you try to do is you try to move the cube in such a way that is the colors are fixed. Um, some people have reported difficulty with this. I don't think it's that difficult. I'm gonna do it now. It's kind of you play around with it, uh, and you'll eventually start to just accidentally do it most of the time. It's not a super deliberate thing for me, um, but I am really really you know I'm pretty good at Rubik's cube. There are some people who are better than me. There are some people who are not as good. Um, but there are champions, and the champions can solve the cube, the entire thing, in less than 5 seconds. I don't know what the world record is, but it is pretty fast. Um, I don't know. I think that might be too fast. I don't obviously, I don't want to make fun of anybody who can solve a cube in less than 5 seconds. Um, Good on them. But I do think that in some ways they're missing the point, which is that it's a relaxing, fun exercise, a way to pass the time. Um, if you solve it in less than a minute, which I can, I think that that is pretty good. That's pretty like, oh, okay, so you know what you're doing. But it's not so impressive that it's obvious you're just trying to get people to like you, which is the problem with these less than 5 seconders. There's such a thing as too fast, and nobody really likes to show off. Um, so I would recommend that those people that solve it really quickly and hold the records, um, tone it down a little bit. Just slow the Rubik's cube down. Here I have it's coming along, um, but just slow it down. It's not really a race. It's just a little fun puzzle, and you're ruining it with your competitive attitude. Um, I think check this out. I made a fish. I made a fish with the Rubik's cube. You see the yellow? It makes like a little. It's kind of like the Jesus fish, but it's okay. So anyway, what was I saying? I was talking about show offs. Um, you know, nobody likes show offs. Although I have often been accused of being one. And it's not intentional. I'm not trying to make people feel bad about themselves. It's just one of those things where it's like if you've got it, flaunt it. Um, I'm not ashamed of being really good at things. And uh, um, so so I'm not. I ruined this cube actually. It got messed up again. I didn't solve it. It's your fault for distracting me with your questions, but I'm gonna be serious now, and I'm gonna solve the Rubik's cube. Um, so it's back to being all messed up and unappealing. And this this has been intentional because I was saying I didn't want to show off, and that people who were really fast should slow down. Um, and so I'm just demonstrating that because I am not a hypocrite, and I don't want to ever be called one. Um, Speaking of hypocrites, when I didn't know what that word meant, I did kind of think that it was a magical creature. And this was even before Harry Potter, before the hippogriffs, which further confused me because by the point that, when I read Harry Potter and the hippogriff showed up, I almost was like, oh, you know, I was just off by a couple letters, but I was right. There really are animals called, hypocrites, almost. So that was kind of cool. But it doesn't mean mystical creatures. Um, one day we should talk about cryptozoology, which is sort of like creatures that people don't really believe exist, but do exist. Um, or they might not, but there are people who believe they might exist. I don't know. I haven't seen any really mythical creatures that I know of. I think I've seen aliens because I think I've seen lights in the sky and I didn't know what they were. Um, and if you don't know what it is, it's unidentified. If it's unidentified and it's in the air, it's an unidentified flying object, what we call UFOs. And we all know that UFOs universally are actually alien spacecraft. So I have seen things I didn't know what they were. They were unidentified. They were flying. They were also objects probably, and they were UFOs for short. So definitely alien spacecrafts. So I have seen them. Um, I messed it up again. The Rubik's cube is hard to do while you're talking. And this is just really a video, so it's messed up again. This is really a video more to show you that to err is human, and that we don't have to be perfect in all things. I think once you stop thinking that you should be perfect, you can be happier, um, and happiness is key. Um, uh, so yeah, it's also an aspirational video because you shouldn't give up, and I'm certainly not going to give up. I'm gonna solve this cube. It's all messed up again, but here we go. Um, okay, I'm working on it. I think I would probably be embarrassed if I was actually this bad at the cube, but I'm not. And I know that I'm not. I know that I'm a lot better than I seem to be. Um, and I think that's the thing. It's like if you practice a lot at something and you do it right or do it very well in practice, um, it doesn't really matter how well you do under examination because well they just didn't see me when I got it right. It kind of like tests. I think in school, I didn't always get great grades, but I studied hard and I knew the answer at one time. When I was reading the book or doing the homework or had the answer in front of me, I knew the answer. And so I just couldn't remember the answers long enough to get to the test and to take the test. And I didn't beat myself up over it. I just was, assured myself, you knew that answer. Um, it was really kind of an unfair set of circumstances. Um, what's interesting about tests, though, in school is that they do expect you to memorize a lot of information and then have that information ready for the test. But the truth of the matter is that I don't know. I never really remembered. I don't really. There's not very many things that I have to remember um, ever. I mean, because I can look things up if I don't know the answers. Um, it's also interesting that they're so concerned about facts when it comes to little kids. But like, not to get political, but like when a politician talks, there are fact checkers, but the facts are sort of for the nerdy people who look it up afterward. Um, Most of us just watch the speeches and just we already kind of know whether we're going to agree or not with the politician. So when he if it's someone we like, we just agree with him. When he's someone we don't like, we don't agree with him. um, and it works out pretty well. I mean, it definitely helps us um, just kind of like be firm in what we believe. But the facts, like I'm trying to say, are not that important. This is crunch time. I've almost solved the puzzle. I just need a few more minutes. Um, if I wasn't talking, it would probably be easier. But unfortunately, I have to talk. Oh, okay. So let's stop for a second and we'll just be very quiet. Okay. So um, this is pretty intense. Um, but soon enough. Okay. Oh, there you go. And you see, that was a relaxing adventure. It took me about 12 minutes. Um, this is no big deal, you know. And like I said, I know that I can solve it faster. I have solved it faster. I could have solved it faster. Probably if I hadn't been talking, it would have been easier. I messed up a couple times, but that was just my mistake. Um, and it's okay to make mistakes. Uh, so this is the patriotic side to the Rubik's Cube. It's the red, white, and blue. Um, this is like my soccer team when I was a kid, blue and orange. We were blue and orange colors. When we played each other in practice, there was a blue team and an orange team. I was usually on the orange team. Um, I don't know any other flags except ours, so I can't really tell you other color. What the other sides of the Rubik's cube means when it's solved. Um, but I usually like to have blue on top. I think blue is a calming color to have on top. I don't really like yellow. I don't really like orange. So I like to just have the blue and the red. I really like green, and I would have green and blue and white would be my colors. The thing is that Rubik's cubes actually are designed to have certain colors opposite other colors, and blue and green are opposites. But that's the Rubik's cube. You might want to know how I solved it. The answer is I'm smart, and I can solve basically any puzzle. Um, so um, that's as much as I'm willing to say about that.